Chapter 1. Into the Light. Golden awoke in a gently swaying hammock, a strange mix of calm and uncertainty settling over her. Though she had no idea where she was, she didn't feel in danger. In fact, the place felt almost like paradise. Being lost in Lorebella Bay was a luxury in a weird way. Lorebella Bay was the kind of beauty that silenced even the waves. The sea there was impossibly clear, so pure it mirrored the sky like a sheet of living glass. Sunlight pierced straight through the surface, scattering into ribbons of silver and gold that danced along the white sands below. The water carried a soft turquoise hue near the shore, deepening to rich sapphire as it stretched toward the horizon, where small islands shimmered like jewels floating in liquid crystal. Golden slipped from the hammock and tumbled onto the soft, silky sand. For a moment, she simply sat there, collecting herself. Her hands moved instinctively, lifting handfuls of warm grains only to let them fall through her fingers. She brushed her palms against her dress and scooted back until her spine pressed against the curve of a coconut tree. Her amber eyes scanned her surroundings. The bay's beaches were scattered with shells of impossible colors, opal pinks, emerald greens, and pearly blues, each humming faintly with traces of magic from the ocean's depths. Coral reefs glistened beneath the shallows, teeming with fish whose scales shone like gemstones. She expected her memory to return, but it didn't. All that came was confusion and a deep, aching desire for something familiar. Above her, the sky was a moody gray. Dense clouds cloaked any sign of the sun. The wind picked up, cold and urgent, whispering that she needed shelter. Even after brief moments of rest, her legs felt heavy with exhaustion. She dragged her feet through thick, damp sand, every step a struggle against the wind that pushed back harder each time she turned from it. Then she stopped. Through the gusts and swirling grit, something caught her eye. Smoke rose in the distance, as a dark pillar twisting upward. A fire in this weather would be insane, but Golden had to see for herself. Her heart pounded as her mind told her it made no sense, but instinct told her to keep moving. She turned toward the smoke and forced her body forward, praying that answers, maybe even her memories, were waiting at the source. Though the smoke eventually thinned, Golden found something even more valuable. A cave, leading into darkness, but beyond that, the unmistakable sound of a waterfall. She closed her eyes and listened to the water roar like it was calling to her. Fresh scent, wild, alive, dancing through her senses, bringing comfort. For the first time in what felt like ages, a soft smile appeared. She needed to feel this, taste it. Cautiously, she stepped through the ashes, then rushed to the water. A cool wind flowed from the cave's heart, mingling with the smoke of the dying fire. The closer she got to the water, the cooler the air became. Golden leaned forward, letting the cold trickle kiss her lips before allowing it into her mouth. Then she stepped deeper, letting the water curl around her aching, dried-up limbs. She tilted her head back, watching muddy sand slide down her arms. With both hands, she scrubbed at her scalp, loosening knots and freeing her tangled locks. Stepping out of the water, she took her time shedding the weight of dirt and confusion. Naked and vulnerable, she stood beneath the falling water, eyes closed, silently begging the storm to bring her some kind of clarity. Anything, but her mind remained a swirling blank. When she opened her eyes again, she felt a change. She noticed her skin was soft and smooth again. No more scaly, weird flakes. She enjoyed drinking more from the fresh water, touching her lips gently. Slowly she remembered lips as soft as hers sharing a kiss. Golden welcomed the familiarity. It felt good to know she was loved, wanted, and known. Thunder cracked overhead. The intensity of memory was blurred by the storm's fury. Her heart paced as she began to forget again. She held her head thinking it would hold her memory, but it didn't. She found the energy to slide into a spot of the stones that seemed fitted just for her. She never felt more defeated. Time slipped. Sometime later Golden's body found movement. Her breath began to sync with the rhythm of the distant waves. She awoke curled at the cave's mouth, a tear sliding down her cheek as the reality of being lost and alone rushed her. She turned her back to the storm, curling toward the stream, letting its sound soothe her. She shut her eyes tight, refusing to cry, but more tears broke free. The tears hit the earth, turning the stream of water into a glowing shimmer. Golden's eyes were too heavy to catch it. Reality and dream blurred too much for her to fight her sleep, so she succumbed to it. When she awoke again, it was with a jolt. Her surroundings felt unfamiliar once more. Slowly, she stood, stretching her limbs and trying to shake the lingering dream from her body. Her eyes drifted to the water. Had it really glowed? All she saw now was her caramel skin reflected back at her. She took a slow breath. She admired the way her rich complexion shimmered against the soft light, how it complemented the deep mahogany shades of her damp locks. Her amber eyes flickered with renewed intensity. Suddenly, her mind pulled her into a distant memory, a vision of herself sitting at a stone vanity embedded with colorful gems. She shut her eyes tight, longing to return to that familiar place, but when she opened them again, it was clearly daytime. Yet a thick fog blanketed the land, too dense to see more than a few feet ahead. Golden sat on a thick log near the charred remains of a campfire, noticing scraps of cooked food nearby. Her stomach growled violently. She didn't care what the meat was. She needed nourishment. She devoured what remained, ignoring the strange flavor. Her body wanted more. She kept eating until every last piece was gone. Still, her stomach begged. Something was calling her. A taste, a scent, a need. Without thinking, she wandered from the cave and into the fog, her view limited to the path directly in front of her. She followed the sound of waves crashing in the distance, her bare feet pressing into damp ground, then soft, wet sand. She didn't know why she was doing it or where she was exactly going, but she had to keep going. A flash of silver caught her eye. She had witnessed a fish trapped in the tide. She lunged forward as her readily hands moved too fast, unnaturally fast. She snatched the wriggling creature and tore it open with her nails, sinking her teeth into the soft belly. Warm blood flooded her mouth. Golden dropped the fish with a gasp. Her trembling hands hovered before her face, covered in red. She backed away, eyes wide with terror. What am I? She backed away from the water, the waves licking at the fish's ruined body. She wiped her mouth and ran. She ran until her breath burned in her chest and didn't stop until she spotted a dry tunnel tucked into the rocks. She ducked inside, wrapped herself in a makeshift blanket, and tried to breathe. After hours of wandering, she emerged again and decided to follow the mountain path. As she climbed, a dire wolf appeared ahead. It didn't attack, it just stood there, watching her. Cautious, but curious, Golden slowed, uncertain of whether she finally found food or was going to be food. The wolf whimpered and turned away but suddenly paused. She sensed something between them, something ancient and unspoken. The wolf glanced back, as if beckoning her forward. Still unsure, Golden inched forward, offering her hand to the wolf. The wolf accepted her friendship and began trotting away. Golden followed. Together, they climbed the mountain trail until steam rose from a cave entrance ahead. Golden paused and so did the wolf, its body no longer tense. It rubbed its nose against her leg and looked up at her with bright, intelligent eyes for the first time. Golden hesitated, her hand tightening around the stick she carried for protection. She could kill the dog, ending this strange, unpredictable moment, but something in her gaze told her not to. The wolf proceeded into the cave. Inside the cave, a fire burned low. A man laid asleep beside it, wrapped in a fur cloak. The wolf padded over to him and whimpered, nudging his leg. The man stirred. He groaned, clearly wounded, and opened his eyes just enough to spot Golden. His hand twitched toward a blade, but the wolf growled. Not at her, but at him, giving a warning. Golden stepped back, unsure what to do. The man looked weak as he struggled to sit up, then staggered to a nearby hot spring. The wolf supported him the best she could, staying close. Good girl, Syruna, he whispered hoarsely. The wolf pressed against him, giving comfort until he drifted back to sleep. Golden now understood why the wolf had led her here. She explored the cave, eyes scanning carefully before approaching the man's belongings. Among them, she found a staff, its surface carved with familiar glyphs. The same moon and star symbols spiraled around her own arm bracelet. He had to be connected to the place she was seeking. She needed to get him well enough to speak. Syruna? Golden called softly, recalling the name the man had whispered. The white dire wolf looked up from the sleeping figure. Syruna, will you help me find food for him? She asked cautiously, extending her hand. The wolf blinked at her, then stepped closer. Golden's fingers brushed thick fur, and for the first time, Syruna accepted her touch. The moment felt sacred, but it didn't last. A low growl echoed from the darkness deeper within the cave. Golden froze. Syruna stiffened, her ears pinned back, her stance shifted into a low crouch, golden and black eyes locked on the shadows. She glanced at Golden, just a flick, just enough to say, stay behind me. The growl came again, wetter now. Guttural, hungry. Golden's heart pounded. She gripped the wooden staff tighter, knuckles white. Her body trembled, but she stood firm. Then it stepped into the light. The beast towered near the cave ceiling. Its ash-colored skin hung in folds, matted fur strung across a twisted, unnatural frame. Its face was a grotesque blend of bear and something far worse. Its eyes glowed red, feral and locked onto her. Syruna barked and lunged. The beast met her midair with a deafening roar. Their bodies slammed into the stone walls. Fur and flesh ripped. The cave echoed with fury and pain. Golden didn't hesitate. She ran forward, staff raised high. The beast turned just as she struck. Crack. The blow landed across its snout, splitting skin. Hot blood sprayed across her face. The beast roared, snapping inches from her throat. She ducked and rolled beneath it, just as Syruna pounced again, her jaws clamping down on its shoulder. Golden rose behind the creature. She gripped the staff in both hands and drove it down, hard, into the base of its skull. The creature shrieked. It bucked wildly, throwing her off. She crashed into the ground, breath knocked from her lungs. Her vision swam. The beast lunged. Syruna was faster. She collided with its ribs, throwing it off course. It slammed into the wall, dazed and bleeding. Golden staggered to her feet, gasping. Her hands shook, not with fear, but with something else. She could feel the light inside her. The creature rose again, blood dripping from its mouth, fury in its glare. It snarled, one final challenge. Golden met its eyes. End charge. She leapt, twisting midair like her body had done it 100 times. She landed atop the beast's back and drove her staff deep into the soft spot behind its skull. The beast collapsed, twitching once, then still. Golden stood over it, chest heaving, blood smeared, breathless. Syruna limped beside her, blood on her fur, but her tail still high. Golden looked down at the lifeless thing, staff still in hand. I should be dead, she whispered. But I'm not. Syruna let out a soft huff, like agreement. Golden didn't know what she was. But she knew now, without a doubt, she was something. Golden knelt beside the fallen beast, its still warm body sprawled across the cave floor. She stared into its lifeless eyes, her breath shaky. She could have died, but she hadn't. Not today. Syruna circled the carcass once, then backed away, allowing Golden to claim the kill. Still unsure of herself, she began to skin the creature. Her hands moved automatically, driven by instinct or memory. She wasn't sure which. She cut into the thick hide, stripping meat from the bone with careful, practiced motions. Her stomach churned from hunger, but she stayed focused, ignoring the blood, ignoring the smell. The scent of raw flesh awakened something primal in her. The moment her blade pierced the bear's thick neck, she froze. A vision stirred. It wasn't clear, but it felt right. The reward of survival, the price of memory, the weight of who she once was. She could feel it in her bones. This was part of her story. She didn't understand it yet. But somehow, she knew. She knelt over the body again, silently. Her hands kept moving, fluid and efficient. She skinned the beast with care. Why do I know how to do this? She remembered the feeling on the beach, the raw, wild hunger that had overtaken her. She had bitten into a fish, blood on her lips. And now, once again, she was here, stripped of fear, ruled by instinct. She carved the beast's sharp claws and teeth from its head and paws. Without fully understanding why, she began to fashion a necklace. The materials felt natural in her hands. Protective, essential, something deep inside her demanded it. A truth remembered not by mind, but by blood. Well, Syruna, food found us first. We won this battle. Let's gather some wood while it's still daylight so we can enjoy our victory feast. Syruna's tail wagged as she darted out of the cave toward a nearby berry tree. As Golden gathered branches, a sweet scent wafted through the air. The smell of ripe berries carried with it something unexpected, a melody. A tune she heard loud and clear, not with her ears, but deep in her spirit. She closed her eyes. A memory rushed in. She found herself humming, softly, instinctively, the song her mother, Aura, used to sing in the palace. She could see her, gently wrapping herbs in silk, her fingers graceful and steady. Golden bent low, pulling herbs from the dirt. Her mother's voice echoed through her memory. There's a root for pain and a leaf for memory. If you can't heal the body, heal the mind. Golden plucked bitter leaves and crushed thick roots to dull pain. Her hands moved with purpose now. The teachings flowed through her like breath, the melody carrying survival instructions, easy to remember, impossible to forget. As she worked to create a medicine for the stranger, she searched for more memories, more wisdom her mother once shared. She opened her eyes. Just as she began to lose hope, she noticed the mossy stones and lush vines decorating the cave entrance. Something about them unlocked a deeper memory, a vision of the palace garden, and her mother sitting beside her. She heard her voice again. Golden, I know you yearn to leave this place, but there is nothing but danger outside these palace walls. The kings have been dethroned, and their queens captured. Ships bigger than pirate sails carried them over the horizon in chains. Golden's breath caught. Their royal status wasn't recognized. They were sold like cattle, stripped of their names, not even seen as human, but as animals. Our hidden kingdom must remain safe. You must avoid captivity at all cost. I pray to the True One that you have the power to face that threat, if it ever finds you. Golden's hands paused over the herbs, then clenched with renewed strength. Her mother's words weren't just a warning. The sun finally started to pierce through the treetops, bringing her back to reality. She looked up with a grin, but began to hear a low growl behind her. Golden turned to face the source of the growl, but was shocked to see Syruna. She wasn't attacking, but had stiffened and was staring her down, more cautious than before. Golden didn't understand why. Syruna, we were just on the same page. I want to keep our trust on an ascending trend, Golden said as she started the fire. Golden turned away from the wolf, trusting she wouldn't attack, but played with her bear necklace for a quick weapon if she did choose to attack. Golden entered the cave where the stranger stirred at the sound of their footsteps. He sat up slowly, holding his head. Syruna jumped to his side, curling up at the edge of the hot spring. Her watchful eyes were no longer protective, just wary. Golden placed the herbs down gently, then took a step back. Have you come to kill me? He asked, shifting into a seated position. Golden shook her head. The contrary, actually. I brought you medicine. I know you are hurt. This will vastly heal you and take any pain away. I'm Golden, by the way, she explained. Onyx, the man said quickly, taking the medicine, then sank back into the water. My mother said there would be a threat, she whispered, almost to herself. And that if I left the palace, I would need power to face it. He turned to her, eyes full of suspicion and wonder. What did you say? Well, it seems I have not traveled much. I'm in unknown territory, but I'm aware of dangers. I wish to avoid them, not invite them. A shadow passed over Onyx's face. The screams of his mother and sister echoed in his memory. Do you mean the ghosts? He asked, sitting up more, eyes narrowing. Golden's stomach twisted. Her mother had once called the invaders pigmentless men. Ghosts made sense. I don't believe in ghosts, she said slowly, watching him as she sat beside him. But I believe in evil. I'm haunted by the crimes committed by evil. Selfish, foreigners. They're takers, Onyx said, his voice low as he sank deeper into the water, the medicine starting to ease his pain. They're called the Mzungu. Golden leaned in slightly, drawn by the heaviness in his tone. There once was a chief. Fenrir was his name, he continued. He settled along the Tidegate coast, the West Beach. Him and a group of men sent by the king started to build. Brick by brick, they had a city. The men manufactured, women farmed, children studied, word spread, and next thing you know, people came from all over. His voice slowed, thick with exhaustion. The king named the city Sun Harbor, made Fenrir chief, giving him full rights to trade and expand. It became the capital, strong, proud, full of promise. Onyx paused, eyes drifting toward the rising steam. But then, outsiders came. People who didn't look like us. Pale, greedy, smiling with empty hands. Golden swallowed hard, her skin prickling. He was warned by the tradesmen, Onyx muttered, barely above a whisper now. But he still made a deal. His words trailed off. Golden leaned in closer. Onyx? Silence. She touched his shoulder gently. That deal, it's broken, isn't it? Onyx didn't answer. His head tilted back against the cave wall, eyes shut. But the way his jaw clenched told her all she needed to know. Onyx said nothing more after that. The dire wolf stayed curled at the edge of the spring, no longer resting, but tense, ears twitching, nose lifted toward the wind. Her body was low, ready to move. Golden noticed. She was no longer resting. She was watching her. She tried not to take it personally. Golden took the fresh bear meat, cut into thick strips, and laid it over a hot stone near the fire. Smoke rose slowly, fragrant and rich. The scent made her mouth water, but she kept her focus. She remembered a palace kitchen in another life, her mother's fingers dipping herbs into stews, her voice soft but firm. A meal should heal, not just feed. Onyx stirred again as a gleam of light filled the cave. He narrowed his eyes, trying to make out what was happening. The dire wolf growled, low and warning. Golden turned toward her with a racing heart. Syruna's eyes were fixed on her, not aggressive but alert. like she was trying to decide if Golden was prey, or something worse. Golden stepped toward her carefully with an uneasy laugh. Didn't we already have this discussion? I'm your friend Syruna. But as Golden reached out, it was finally revealed to her what was unseen before. Her golden skin was now literally a golden light. Is this what my mother meant? She wondered. This light, is it the power she spoke of?